Have you ever had so much going on that you know you just can't handle one more thing? When that happens, have you ever wished you could just go to sleep and let life run on autopilot for a while? Being able to do things without thinking is a marvelous gift, isn't it? My name is Ian Currey, and this is Thinking Out Loud. Come on, let me tell you what I think. One of the things I sometimes do immediately when I get home is to try and remember which route I took. There are several variations I can make on the way to and from the airport, and often, even though I've just driven home, I won't be able to remember exactly which route I chose. While my old car does seem to have a mind of its own, there really isn't an autopilot installed. Well, that would be fun though, wouldn't it? I can think of all sorts of things that could be useful for. Hillary could send me shopping and the car would actually go to the supermarket instead of the hardware store. The reason I can't remember which way I came home though is because I've done it so often. I don't really have to think about it anymore. I know the way home and just drive. Usually I'm thinking about other things or listening to music or whatever. But the thing with autopilots is that they really aren't all that clever. They just guide you along a path you tell them to go along, turning at waypoints along the route. I've often watched a pilot on the flight deck punch in a few numbers into a keyboard as the aircraft slowly turns to follow the new route. And I wonder where we would end up if the numbers weren't in there just right. We always stop talking while that's going on, just so there's no doubt. Can you imagine? The trick with an autopilot is to give it a definite endpoint so it knows where we're going and to double check where we've told it to take us. A while ago, I'd been flying all day and it came time to make an announcement before we landed. Halfway through the short announcement, I had a brain burp and I just couldn't remember where we were going. Now, instead of pausing and looking at the paperwork, I leaned over to a first-class passenger and said, "Hey, where are we going?" He smiled, realized my predicament, and said, "Detroit." I think I'm one of the few people who could actually get away with admitting I'd forgotten where we were heading in quite that way. But I'd already struck up a relationship with the passenger, and he thought it was fantastic to be able to help me out like that. Afterwards, he said, "Now, if I'd thought about it for a second, I'd have told you to Chicago to see how many of the other passengers called and checked on you." Fun. Do you see? We'd already set the plane up to fly where we were going. It was going there regardless of my brain burp, and unless the pilot decided to change course, the plane would keep heading in the direction of Detroit until we got there. When we have a lot going on and things get all complicated around us, well, just like the drive home on the autopilot on the plane, things seem to happen really without us doing very much. That's because we've already done it. The waypoints and destinations to get the aircraft to Detroit had been set into the aircraft's autopilot. That's easy enough. But when did the car get its data? How did that autopilot feeling happen? Well, just like the plane, my brain had the destination, home, and the waypoints, the different turns I can make to get home, set by me doing that over and over again each day. A habit had been formed to the point where I no longer need to even think about it. When life gets all too much for us, when one thing after another hits and we simply don't know what to do next, often it's only then that we pray and say, God, I need your help, isn't it? But all along, just like my drive home, our minds have been getting filled up with how to navigate all sorts of situations. There's a lovely sentence written by Isaiah about this. Now, he's one of those ancient prophets that people like to quote. The Lord will guide you continually, giving you water when you are dry and restoring your strength. You will be like a well-watered garden, like an ever-flowing spring. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? This part of Isaiah seems like it gets quoted as a sort of make you feel good thing when times are really tough. No? It sounds good though. Like God is an autopilot for when times get rough, giving you water when you're dry and restoring your strength. I love when the ancient writers expand on a thought like this, and they end up describing things to enhance what they're trying to say. You'll be like a well-watered garden, like an ever-flowing spring. Lovely. So when things get tough, switch on the God autopilot and enjoy a long nap dreaming about lovely refreshing gardens. Well, not quite. If that were all there were to it, we'd all be just fine, wouldn't we? Take a look at what Isaiah says just before that. Free those who are wrongly imprisoned. Lighten the burden of those who work for you. Let the oppressed go free and remove the chains that bind people. Share your food with the hungry and give shelter to the homeless. Give clothes to those who need them, and do not hide from relatives who need your help. Oh, now wait a minute. That sounds like heavy lifting. This stuff is work. Especially that relative part. Some of those in-laws can be really difficult, can't they? The idea seeming to be communicated here is that we need to fill our lives with things that are good, godly things, things that help others and set the way we do things so that they become automatic. Then, when things go wrong, we'll know exactly what to keep on doing without thinking about it. That word then is interesting, isn't it? So right after telling us to share our food with the hungry and give shelter to the homeless, Isaiah goes on to say, then your salvation will come like the dawn, and your wounds will quickly heal. Your godliness will lead you forward, and the glory of the Lord will protect you from behind. Then, when you call, the Lord will answer. Yes, I'm here, he'll quickly reply. Interesting. So I thought God was an autopilot that we could set when we needed. Right? Feed the hungry and help those in trouble. Then your light will shine out from the darkness, and the darkness around you will be as bright as noon. There's that then again. And in this instance it says, your light will shine from the darkness. Somehow, when we've already established how we live, the things that we do all the time, are the things that are in there, stored in us, so that when we do need to know what to do, it happens almost automatically. Do you see? When we have those godlike things already in us, hiding in our hearts, ready, it's like having God with us all of the time. When we ask God to guide in those circumstances, so much of what we are about, our character and nature, if you like, is already godlike. Then the Lord will guide you continually, giving you water when you are dry and restoring your strength. You'll be like a well-watered garden, like an ever-flowing spring. Sometimes we go through things that just make us feel numb, don't we? This week has been especially hard for me, with a lot of things going on and no time to decompress. Having already set the autopilot long ago as part of how I live day to day, staying positive, kind, and godly is a whole lot easier. I don't have to think so much about what to do next. It comes almost naturally. Calling out to God for help is indeed reassuring, but when He's already right there, that call need barely be more than a whisper. Until next time, goodbye.